where this road is supposed to lead. We got nothing but time. As long as you're right here next to me, everything's gonna be alright. If it's meant to be, it'll be, it'll be. Baby, just let it be. If it's meant to be, it'll be, it'll be. Baby, just let it be. So won't you ride with me, see where this thing goes. If it's meant to be, it'll be, it'll be.
Warriors, I want to welcome you to a Let's Talk About It video. Okay. Today we are going to talk about it's almost time for kids to go back to school. So I guess the topic will be, should your child go back to a classroom setting or let's say virtual online? I don't know if that's right, but what I'm trying to say is where they can have classroom from the home. That's it. So should they go back to a classroom setting face to face, or should they do classroom from home? Meaning the teacher is going to be on a webcam and you'll be able to see her. I don't know how she can see that many students. I don't know how that part works, but in that perspective, because I know my daughter, when the pandemic started and they made it where they can't come to school no more, they were doing it from home, and she's in college, where she would see the teacher, but the teacher wouldn't see her. But I feel they need to do it where the teacher can see them. I don't know how they're gonna do that. I know they got I know they got technology to do that, but we're gonna talk about that while we ride. I'm always talking to y'all when I'm riding. I just been so tired lately, and I went to the doctor and did my little, first time physical with them. So I'm waiting for all my results to come back. I mean, I don't think I have that problem. It's just that I take medicine, and right about now we're thinking that the medicine that I'm taking is too much. It's too much due to my, like I told y'all in a previous video, my sugar count went down compared to where it was. So now I got to find a way to, we're gonna make it work. But let's get back to the topic. Okay, here in Florida, I don't know what part it is, but I know a child they was on a summer program, and they I don't know if it was summer school. Let me not say summer. Well, that's still a program, but a child ended up with the pandemic. I don't know if we're allowed to say that, so I'm gonna just say the child ended up with let's say COVID-19. Let me just do that. Hopefully I don't get strike. But they ended up sick. Okay, not sick, but with the pandemic that's going around. Let me just keep that word going. Ended up with the pandemic that's going around. And due to that, I believe everyone that was in summer school that was around that person had to be quarantined. So that means these kids might have, you're going to summer school for a reason. So now they can't complete their summer school that we know of at this moment, unless they're going to let them take 2 weeks off. And they have to be tested and everything. So another one, I think the worker ended up sick. And that was the program that they had, summer program. The worker got sick. So you say to yourself, I look at the news, I see how all of these people are saying, they love these children because that's what they want to do. That's their dream of doing all their life, was teaching. But they're saying, I could sit up here and love a student, and the next thing you know, I'm gone because I love these students and I want to take care of them. Just like you have the nurses, doctors, anybody in the medical field, they step on the line every day to try to help these people with the chances they take. Just like when you look at police officers, they step on the line too with the choices they take, because my brother is a police officer. So, you know, I never really had to worry about him, you know, because, you know, he's a cool person. And I have friends from church who are police officers that I just end up seeing on TV, on Fatal Attraction. I say, God, I kept looking at him like, I know this man. I know him. Next thing you know, the name, I said the name, and then my boyfriend was like, that's his name. But he wasn't a person. He was just an officer telling the story. But all these people step on the line for these situations because they have to, okay? But when it comes down to school, I look at, if there's a will, there's a way. So if kids can, you know, stay home and we teach them from a distance, meaning that I guess I don't know if the teacher gonna be at school or where she's gonna be, but you know, it's like, you know, weird. So then that's when people will say, okay, well, you know, if these children are home, who, you know, are they gonna get the nourishment and stuff? That's why the EBT program was trying to help, because normally they get breakfast and lunch at school, depending on, you know, some people have to do reduced lunch, some people, you know, just get free lunch. Okay, so you put all of that under consideration and you saying, okay, what's best? Okay, let's use my opinion. I feel that they can do something from home, but then when I say to myself, some of these students' parents work their behinds off, so they're not home. So the child is not old enough to stay home by themselves, and that parent are responsible enough to stay home, so that parent put them at daycare. So you got daycare at risk, because daycare, I might as well put them in the same category as you know, the doctors and everybody else, because the parent got to go to school, got to go to work, so they got to drop their kids off. So it's a really touchy subject. It's like a subject you say to yourself, what should we do? What should we do to make things to the point where everybody will be okay? Because what's going to happen, I feel, they're going to go ahead and do that classroom setting, and they're going to be dropping like flies. Because I have a, how would you say it? It's like how this cold thing goes, it got my attention. And I was saying, okay, you have people who have it and don't even know they got it. You know? And they're sending themselves, okay, person, you just driving like, la 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 la. That's how he driving. He got to be a tourist. No, got the same plate as, you know, our state. Anyway, just slow poke. But you know, it's crazy because you really don't, you don't know what to do. But I don't know what I was saying. I totally lost my train of thought. But I know we was talking about they could be dropping like hot plates, or hot cakes, or flies, whatever. Because everybody, I know what it was, everyone has different colds. So you can have this cold, she can have that cold, he can have that cold. Anybody, you know, have different colds. So when you mix them all together, sometimes people can't handle it. Okay? And that's how I think this pandemic situation is intertwining with something in that perspective. So I might have that cold and I can handle it and I can chill, you know, I'm not really sick, you know, but because you done came around me and you got a little bit of my cold and a little bit of his cold and a little bit of her cold, now that's when it all break loose. So, and the only reason I know something in this perspective because I went through this, not the pandemic, but I went through I had so many different colds because of the job I was doing. To the point, the doctor say, you got that rising on your back because of this. You got so much poison in your system, it's fighting to come out. And once that rising came to a head and it burst, that's when I felt better. So that's what the crazy part is that I see with this. So I say to myself, personally, I do not feel these kids need to go back to face-to-face school. But maybe going to some type of, like, I look at it as, if these kids were really taking, really into it, wearing the face mask, wearing gloves, if you put a glove on soon as you come in the building, right? Then that means if everything was clean and you didn't touch nothing you didn't have no business doing, then you're not going to get sick because you don't put gloves on. You're not touching anything that is not clean. So you won't get sick. If you had a lunchroom classroom, then we might can do it. But how many schools have lunchroom classrooms? None. So we can't do it. So I think they really need to look at it. Think about the first 9 weeks. What I think they need to do for the first 9 weeks is they need to do what they need to do is they need to do it from home, not face to face. But then, like I say, you have people that might not have computers. Then you have people who, parents are working, so who's going to be home? Now, I do like how they have some schools here, the lunchroom, because I was, worried about, okay, the lunchroom people, now they not going to have a job either. The teachers can still have a job, but the lunchroom people can't. But down here they have it where people will, go to the school, pick up their lunches. I don't know about the breakfast, but at least the lunch. So the parent can go ahead and bust them cereal for breakfast. Okay? And they can have a nice lunch. But then they saying, okay, who's going to go pick the lunch up because I'm at work? So I feel that's when it need to be some type of, somebody's not working. Everybody's not working. So that's when y'all come together as a team and say, okay, I'm going to go and get, 10 lunches and I'm going to take them to whoever house. So that means the person who's working need to I ain't going to say that, but I'm finna say it. I'm finna say they need to double S that moolah for gas. Or maybe, the county or whoever know that person is volunteering doing, they will provide them with gas. Because trust me, gas prices, they okay, but they could get worse and then we'll look even crazier. But so technically the moral of this particular topic that we're talking about is, I do not feel that they should have face-to-face setting right now for the first 9 weeks. I feel what they need to do is see how this pandemic turns around within the first 9 weeks. And if it doesn't turn around the way it needs to turn around, then they need to go into the second 9 weeks as a home setting. Now, there are some students who need that extra help. Okay, that's when we bust in and say, let's use the cafeteria, the lunchroom area to have our classes. Or, they really don't, let me take that back. They don't have to use the lunchroom area. They can use the portals, they can use classrooms. But down here they were saying it was only about 5 people in the classroom and the person still got sick. So it's kind of crazy. But we have to ask ourselves, is that person making sure, I'm sorry guys, I'm distracted. I'm praying to God that the road is not, it looked like the road is blocked off. So it's like I'm looking like I don't know my way in this area that well. But knowing me, I'll find my way. So I'm going to have to turn, I think, No, I don't think so. He got the stop sign out, so I'm okay. I just have to wait for when they let me go down the road. But they might can, just make sure that person, it need to be some kind of way they can check and see if that person that's going to be the teacher, make sure they're not getting sick. Have maybe, honestly, it sounds crazy, but you might need to have a teacher and assistant teacher. So by having the teacher and assistant teacher, if the teacher gets like maybe a cold or something, they can stay home them few days, and you got the assistant teacher that's backing that person up. Because some students cannot learn from home. Like my baby boy, he did okay, but he was doing in classrooms. He was talking about, oh, I'm gonna do it online. Honey, because when I was trying to help him graduate, and I was going to school with him online to make sure we were on the same page, and it was hard, and we worked it out, but we worked together. I just had a little time on my hands at that time. The job I had, I could do that. You know what I'm saying? But if you got a job that's really on you, then I couldn't really focus on that, because I was a person, I'm still is, that can do two things at one time. Okay, so by me doing my normal job, I could still write and not focus, because I know my script word verbatim. So I don't look down, at the paper, because that's when I get lost. So I just know my script word for word, and I talk to, and I'm looking at the, spelling words, whatever it was. And I got to understand it, and he got to understand it. And the good thing about it was early child care or something like that. You had to do something like that, a class, and you had to do one class online. So I did that with him, and I learned a little something, and he learned a lot. So they really have to come up with a plan, but that's what they're doing here in Volusia. Seminole, I think, got a plan. In Orange is still trying to figure out what they're going to do. So I don't know how it's going on in you all state, because a lot of y'all do not go back to school until September. We go back to school, supposed to have been August 10th, but they have pushed it back some. So just question yourself and say, what would you do if you was in this situation? Leave a comment. Tell me, would you do the face-to-face? Would you do a online virtual class where, I know y'all have heard of the virtual school, where you have someone helping you. I don't know what they call it, but you have someone helping you. Or would you do where that teacher that you are getting to know physically or, personally, like you did when you was in school, with the classroom setting, be in front of you, and everybody can see that teacher, and the teacher can see them. So there's 3 choices. So I'm gonna pin the note that I would do, and then just pin the note that not pin, I'm sorry, leave a message saying what you would do, or comment, should I say. But I really want to thank you all for watching. I know I was all over the place because I'm driving and I'm trying to pay attention to the road and talk to you all. But I seem like I can focus a lot. Well, yeah, no. When I'm talking, I have more patience and time to just explain it better, because it helps me to get to my destination, and I'm almost there. But I want to say, if you are not a warrior yet, hit the subscribe button. I have really been slacking when it comes down to getting subscribers, okay? And I know that's the key thing with YouTube. You got to get that subscriber first. I mean, a lot of people get their subscribers before they even start their channel. So I'm way behind. But I need to get to 1,000 subscribers. I used to talk about it all the time. Once I get to 1,000 subscribers, I will do a giveaway. So tell your mom, your sister, your brother, your cousin, your uncle. Trust me, I'm talking about something somebody want to hear. Or I'm doing something somebody want to see. So again, if you are not a warrior, hit the subscribe button, then click the notification button to be notified of all videos, along with share this video. Somebody may be interested in a topic that I talk about. This may come up in your city where you have to make a decision if y'all gonna do homeschool, regular school, you know, whatever. It may help you to decide. So I want to say thanks for watching. Later.
So come on